afternoon, everybody. Welcome. And welcome everybody online to the October 24th Chippewa County Board of Supervisors meeting. We thank you all for being here, whether you're in person or online. Thank you so much. It's 5:30. We've all got an agenda that we're going to follow this afternoon, but we're going to start our meeting with prayer. Supervisor Montgomery, would you like to lead us in prayer?
I'll do it. You will bow your head. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for all our many blessings, and thank you for this wonderful weather that you have just blessed us with here, dear Lord, in Oktibbeha County. Be with each and every one of the board members here tonight. Be with everyone that is here and the ones who are watching online, dear Lord. Be with the people who are traveling through this county, through this state. Dear Lord, be with our military who are here and the ones who do fight abroad. It's all these many blessings, dear Lord, that we're so thankful for what this county and the state and this nation do provide to each and every one of us now and in the future. It's in your Son's precious name we do pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, we're now going to open the floor for citizen comment period. Each citizen has 3 minutes. If you'll come up, state your name and what your topic is about. Since we do not have any, we will move forward to the next one. Ms. Benson with the Brownfield Grant update.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
George Crawford and myself attended the mandatory EPA Brownfield training in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, and we are ready to start our grant. So with your permission, rather than going to the state for their funds, we will be able to use our grant to complete a phase 1 and phase 2 assessment. If phase 1 deems that a phase 2 is necessary, which we all suspect it will be. So with your permission, that's what we'll do. And since we have the money, we'll keep it local. And we look forward to being able to work with you on this.
Perfect. Yeah, we need a motion.
Isn't it?
Yes, the assessment is 100% grant. Yes, the purpose of the PDD receiving the grant is so that local units of government that probably could not have a competitive application on their own falls under the umbrella of the Planning and Development District. So we receive one big grant to go out and help the multitudes.
Good deal.
Okay?
Okay.
So
you need
moved.
a motion to accept or move forward? Okay. Got a motion by Supervisor Howard and a second by Supervisor Williams. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion
Okay.
passes 5-0.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will prepare an access agreement working with your county administrator and attorney and then get back with you on that.
Thank you,
Okay?
Ms. Phillips.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The old hospital location.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
It's the Brownfield grant update we talked about a while back. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Brock, with a travel consistency fund, local assistance.
All right. I believe that the county administrator had mentioned something about this at your last meeting. Everyone who qualifies received an email, and so it is the Local Assistance and Travel Consistency Fund. And in order to be eligible for these funds, you have to be a eligible revenue sharing county or travel entity. Because the county receives revenue sharing from the refuge and I believe the Tom Bigby National Forest, y'all are eligible to receive that. And the total allocation for Oktibbeha County is $132,555.32. So they'll come in 2 payments, just like your ARPA money. As soon as you apply for the first one, they will process it, and you'll receive $66,277.66. And then at some point in 2023, you'll receive an email to go in and draw down the second half of it. You will not ever hear this probably again from our office, but this money is very flexible, has very few regulations from the standpoint of it can be used for anything except lobbying. There's no time frame on when it has to be spent. The only requirement is until it is 100% exhausted, you have to do an annual report due in March every year, just like your ARPA money. It's drawn down through the same port as the ARPA money is portal as the ARPA money is, and so actually all Deloitte has to do is log in and click the button, and it'll say copy this information from the ARPA stuff. There'll be another DocuSign document that comes through that will need to be signed and submitted, and then they will process the funds from there.
It's like 100% guarantee.
From what we've received, it's 100% because they broke everything down by county, how much everybody would be eligible for, and
Well, when you say eligible, that's where I didn't know if we would actually get it or.
eligible to apply and receive.
Oh, okay.
Is the way I understand it.
Okay.
Then there is a possibility if there are some entities that do not go in and make your first draw before the end of January 2023, then I think they will take what's left and reallocate it to everybody who did. So
I got you.
there's
a chance for more.
There's a possibility, I would say a slim possibility, but at the same time, a lot of people got this and saw tribal at the beginning of it and tossed it aside and didn't think about it again.
Right.
And but it can be used for anything that general funds would normally be used for, administration, buildings, furniture, anything that y'all see fit, except for lobbying.
Okay, well, thank you so much for you and Ms. Farmer bringing that to us. Would somebody like to make a motion for that? Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery, that we move forward with Mr. Brock on the Local Assistance and Tribal Consistency Fund grant application. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much. Have a good evening.
Mr. Warner?
Good evening.
Everybody doing this afternoon?
Good, good. Yeah.
All right, I got a couple things on the agenda tonight, and I'll just go by the list here. We've kind of been busy here lately. The first one I'd like to talk about is a burn ban. We've been on a number of grass fires in the county. It seems like we've had one every day here for the last week or so. I was actually just recently on one, Sturgis Maven Road earlier before I came to this meeting. I'd like the board to maybe discuss or maybe think about, since I'm on full time now, maybe, if we wanted to do a burn ban in Oktibbeha County, the board has to meet and issue it. Well, if it's dry and the board doesn't meet for another week and a half, it's hard to, I was wondering if y'all would maybe consider giving me the authority to issue a burn ban for the county. I had the news crew and probably 10 phone calls within the last 2 days asking if there's a burn ban, and I tell them no, and they ask if there's going to be one enacted, and I have no answers for them.
Yeah.
So I would like to bring that to this, maybe a discussion, and see if y'all would be interested in
It's
doing
awfully
that.
dry.
Do you think this rain that's coming in tomorrow?
Oh, I think we're going to be good. I don't think we need to issue one. I think the rain
Oh,
coming in
okay.
tomorrow is going to be good. But for future references, it's been so dry, it probably wouldn't have hurt. to-
Okay, just authorize you
Yeah.
to
Yes,
do it.
yes, sir.
Okay.
So we're looking for a
Okay.
motion to authorize Mr. Patrick Warner if a burn ban is needed.
I got you,
That
yeah.
he has the authority to put one
And take
in
it back.
place
Yeah.
and notify all of us. I need a
Yeah.
motion to accept that.
Aye.
Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Any further discussion on that?
So
Well,
he-
you still bring us up to date at the next board meeting, I would think,
Yes, sir.
that-
And I would discuss it with y'all
of
if
a
we needed to do
turnaround.
it or not. I'd probably send out a mass text,
Right.
hey, would y'all recommend putting out a burn ban?
Okay.
That way we won't have to wait on the next board meeting to issue it.
Okay. Yeah, what's your official title now?
He's
I'd-
fire
Fire
coordinator.
Fire coordinator, like Chippewa County Fire Coordinator.
This will be
Okay.
under the fire coordinator's responsibility.
So he can issue a burn ban and then he can take a burn ban back off.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well, I'm hearing.
Okay, so issue and remove the burn ban included. All right, any further discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right,
Thank you.
I'm sorry. The second issue is the false alarm ordinance. We got that passed last year. We've been having trouble with the 21 apartments. It's just false alarm after false alarm. One night we got called over 7 times in one night, and the fire chief in that area got tired and he refused to go back over there after the 7th time. So, and this is about the 15th time that we've been over there. And I talked with Mr. Robertson about this. I think we should issue a fine to him, and that's what I'm here to ask for tonight. I don't know how to go about doing this because we've never done this before, and this is a new ordinance, so I'm bringing that to the table also.
Y'all give me the responsibility of coming up with a form for him. That's
Okay.
what we're looking for right now, just to get a form together so he can, because he already has the authority to do it. We just
Yeah,
need to
I
get
bet.
it.
I
And I
guess-
do think that this is an issue. I know my niece lives in an apartment complex, not that one, but she was saying the other day it goes off so much that they don't even get up.
But they don't.
And so if it really is a fire, you know, these alarms go off so much that they know they're false, or they think they're false alarms, then, you know, you could actually really have a fire and the students don't get up and leave the apartment complex because they think it's another just false
That's
alarm.
dangerous.
So who are you thinking about issuing the citation to, the apartment owner or the?
It will be the owner of the apartments. It's 21 apartments, whoever the entity is who owns it.
Okay, and they'll have to try to find out who's pulling the alarm.
Yep. It's really just it's really nobody, it's faulty wiring, I believe.
Oh,
And they're just not getting it
okay,
fixed.
gotcha.
It's-
That particular issue is
Gotcha.
ongoing,
Okay.
and it's not a student or a resident, it's their equipment.
Gotcha.
So we need a motion in the order to say, to give authority for him.
Well,
and-
he's gonna make a form, do the form. I think we need a motion to say that,
And did we ever come up with a fine amount? I don't remember us actually ever coming up with a fine amount, so I need those two things, the authority to do it and the amount of.
I think that, you know, I mean, you can't put a price on somebody's life, for sure. And if this is faulty wiring, they need to, whatever's happening, they need to get it handled.
Yeah.
Because not only is it making their residents numb to the fact, but it's also our resources that keeps calling them out multiple times.
I would say a minimum
Probably the
of
first,
$500.
yeah, the
Minimum.
first alarm.
Bare minimum.
The
Well, we
first
were saying up
alarm,
to.
I think the first alarm should be less. Second alarm for the same house, the same apartment, should be more. So it's a progressive, to me, it would be a progressive step,
Like a step of it.
yeah.
Am I hearing that y'all would prefer this be for the first alarm up to a certain amount, and then
Right.
for the second and more up to another amount?
Right, that's right.
Okay, well, give me your amounts and I'll.
The first one up to 1,000, the second one
First
Up to
1,000,
2,000 or 2,500.
To 1,000. 1,000 is a lot, though.
well, like I said, so if a fire truck coming down the road hits and kills somebody,
Yeah.
or like Supervisor Miller's saying, somebody's heard it so many times, they're not gonna get up. That's just a safety issue.
These apartment complexes
It's
are making a lot of
ongoing
money.
too. It's not, you know,
They can come up with the money. $1,000 would be nothing to them personally. I mean, they were paying $40,000 to get people in apartments while they couldn't finish the apartments over there. So I mean, that was a week. So $40,000 a week, and they weren't batting an eye at it.
well, that and
Yeah.
there's gotta be a way, if this has been an ongoing issue, they've not addressed the issue, there's gotta be something in place to get them to address it, so.
Okay, so the motion is up for the first fine up to $1,000, and for the second fine up to 2,000. Is that, who wants, somebody want to make that motion?
I will.
Okay, Supervisor,
Second.
Montgomery makes the motion, and Supervisor Trainer seconds the motion. Any further discussion?
I mean, up to now, doesn't have to do all that.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, I'm
And
sorry.
1,000 for each additional fine after that.
Okay.
If they don't get it done in the first two, because if they just keep on.
Okay. And
I'll
then
make that
$1,000 for each additional fine. Will you modify your
I'll make that
motion? Okay.
amendment, yeah.
So the motion is modified, and then after that, $1,000 per fine.
I guess you all are gonna notify the apartment owners that this is.
They've been notified.
Okay.
I've met with them
Okay.
a number of times.
Okay, so we've got a motion and a second, and that's to do the form, and we got the amount. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
All right, thank you. The third item on the list is the sale of fire trucks. I got 6 old fire trucks that need to be sold. The VIN numbers are on the sheet there. I actually did send pictures this morning. I was late getting them in, but I have pictures of those if y'all would like to see pictures. They're just old fire trucks. I mean, I got one sitting out there at Tim Rice's that's got a tree this big growing through it that just needs to be gone. They're just junk
Okay.
trucks.
We've got a request, motion by Supervisor Trainer to sell the old fire truck, it's second by Supervisor Williams. Any further discussion on that? Motion passes 5-0.
All right, moving on. Last one is, you know, we buy fire trucks, at least one fire truck every year. I'd like to ask permission, and we hit a pretty good lick last year. We need to hit another pretty good lick this year within this year's budget. I'm asking to get permission to get estimates on 3 pumper trucks and 3 mini pumper brush trucks, to get the bids on those for this year's budget.
Okay.
So moved.
Got a motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Howard to get the bids on 3 pumper trucks and 3
Mini pumpers.
mini pumpers.
Pump and roll.
And bring it back to the board. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr.
All right.
Warner.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good evening.
Yes,
Do the
sir.
same, take care.
All right, Chancery Clerk Business, Ms. Livingston.
Yeah, I've got one thing. It's to acknowledge the letter that I got from the Department of Revenue that they accepted the recapitalization and were clear to do the 1 mil for the tax roll.
Okay, you got that right?
Say that one more time, acknowledge that Department of Revenue's recapitalization on.
That they approved for the 2022 millage on the recapitalization.
Thank you.
Okay, I need a motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams. Any further discussion on that? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Anything
That's
else?
all I have.
Okay. Ms. Farmer?
I have payroll changes in your package for approval.
Got a motion to accept the payroll changes. Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Any further discussion on that? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
I have fiscal year 2022 fixed asset and deletions, additions and deletions.
Got to approve the fixed assets and deletions. Got a motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Any further discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
One at a time. huh?
Yes, you're doing one at a time.
Okay.
We need to acknowledge the final amended budget for fiscal year 2022.
So move.
Got a motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams to acknowledge the final amended budget of 2022. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Need to acknowledge the first quarter budget allocation, which is for the sheriff, the tax office, and the jail.
Got a motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Montgomery to acknowledge the first quarter budget allocations. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Need to acknowledge District 2 road improvement contract change order.
Make a motion that we
Got it.
acknowledge the change order.
All right, got a motion. I need a second, please, on that. Second by Supervisor Howard, motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Howard to acknowledge District 2 road improvement contract change order. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
We have Phillips.
For Phillips Contracting, I have some information dealing with the roads that had some issues with cars getting soil cement on them. I should have called you today to think about this, but we're fixing to pay them, and I needed to give you all an update on what they told me about what they thought their responsibility was on that. So I'll do that when y'all wish, but it may be best to let you know now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's fine. And then also, if y'all did read on this, that there were some things that Clyde, he said to make deductions on there. Did y'all see not to pay the full amount or something like that? Because there was still some things on the punch list
This
that was
yeah.
not
Yeah.
on each one. I just wanted to make sure.
This is for the base work. We hadn't did the final ride-throughs yet, so we're not paying the final total.
Right, right, but I just wanted to make sure y'all saw his notes on there
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you wanna go ahead?
All
Go
right,
ahead.
assuming that it's okay to discuss it at this moment, I spoke to the the people that's over Phillips, they didn't have any of the names of the people that we're talking about, but his general, I guess from his statement was, is they've tried to stop everyone that's going down those roads, anyone that got soil cement on them, either went around a barricade or they just refused to stop. He says they've done what they were contractually obligated to do, and they do not feel they're responsible for any of the damages done to any of the vehicles. He also went on to say that the stuff should have been easier to gotten off if they'd gotten it off immediately. Anything that's hard to get off was the fact that they've left it on for a long time. This is his statement, not Rob's statement. So bottom line is they're saying that they're not responsible for those, and that it would be up to the county how they wanted to proceed with this. But these are your constituents that have had these things happen to their vehicles. I just wanted y'all to be aware of it.
How many do we have? Do we know?
We
At
have
least
3 on County Line and 1 on Longview Edenton.
Well, one on Poorhouse.
and 1 on Poorhouse. So
Okay,
that's-
I didn't get that one.
Yeah, I
That must
got
be
that
the
one.
one you have. I never got that.
So it's 5.
Can you get them to send something official to us? When I say them, Phillips, to
Phillips?
their stance on it.
Again,
I mean, just whatever they feel in it, and
I
that way.
just, like the one on Poorhouse Road, that was a truck and trailer that was coming to the horse park. There were no barricades. They were done working on that end. They drove through it. She's a brand new Dodge truck. When she got there, she saw that gray stuff and she hit it with the water hose. And when she did, it's cement stuck to her truck. And then all up underneath her horse trailer too, and the brake axles and everything else. So,
We need to start requiring them in the next round of whatever, even if it's not us sitting here. We need to require them to have flagmen.
he
At each
claims, just telling you what he claims, that he had people up there to stop people. Now, the lady on Poorhouse, she said there was no one up there stopping anybody from going down the road, and she just thought it was dust. That's the reason she's trying to spray it off the way she did. Now, the particular lady on Poorhouse actually got the stuff off of her vehicle, but it took her, goodness knows, I think it was quite a bit of elbow grease on her part, and it's not quite as expensive because she did what she did to try to get it off. I think she had it may have been $1,000, I'm gonna say $1,000 worth of stuff that she did to this. There's one particular one that it sounds like it's damaged enough to it almost makes the car not, the amount to get it off was more than the car was worth.
Totaling the car out.
That's basically what she's saying. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, I'm just relating information.
I can't speak for all over the county, but I do know I was checking at least every other day, sometime every day out on West Reed and West Garrett. They had flagmen every time I came through.
Longview, they had flagmen on Longview.
I can't speak for all over the county now,
But,
but
yeah.
I do know they had flagmen out there.
Well, the only way we can rectify that is when we doing soil cement, just close the road. Just close the road completely. Just put a sign out on both ends of the road is closed. No through traffic.
you know, they were basically done with it. I mean, they had left for the day, you know, and there was nobody there when they came in. They just, and it's down there by the water tower on that patch down there is where, you know,
Yeah.
she picked it all up. She came in that direction.
I guess my only question is like Longview Road, Longview Edenton, or County Line Road, other roads. There are certain roads where the people they live on that road. So I mean, it'd be no through traffic, of course, but you still got somebody going a mile down the road. That's all it takes. But that's the best we can do is shut the road down completely while they're soil cementing. I guess get us the information on all those claims, Rob, and then we'll make a decision on that.
Do you have a total for what you're proposing?
No, sir, 'cause
Oh, okay.
the part of the problem is that
Each
the
one?
numbers, each of them are a little different, and then some of the cars, like one of the cars that turned their information in, according to the Phillips people, the car was maybe worth $7,000 and they were asking for $10,000, which is, obviously that's not gonna work. I will get actual information put in your packets for next time if I can get it quick enough. But I wanted you to be aware of at least their position initially.
I got you.
Now, those I have not turned into our insurance because there was a contractor working, so, you know, whatever you decide, I'll let you know.
Okay, we've got the 3 invoices on there. Do you wanna approve them together separately?
We can't have we can.
I'm good with mine.
I'm
good with mine, yeah.
Okay, well, we do all of Phillip contracted in District 1, 2, and 3.
I make a motion, we approve all of Philip contracting, 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
All right, got a motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Howard, that we approve District 1, 2, and 3, Phillips Contracting. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Have an interfund transfer to the road and bridge fund for the payroll.
Got a motion by Supervisor Williams, a second by Supervisor Howard to do the inter-fund transfer, road and bridge fund. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Just before we vote, everything's good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Who made those motions? I'm sorry.
Williams and
Howard.
Howard.
We have the county insurance, but if we could, I would need to go into executive session for that. But before we do, the one other thing, the county lake dam inspection. It's time for that. That's in your packet. I was asked to contact Clyde, and I did. Clyde indicated that when he recused himself from the county lake, that took him off of this responsibility. So the county would either have to get the engineer that's involved with it now to do the inspection, or bring in someone else to do it. But we,
Why don't we look at just putting out a bid and get a local engineering firm to do the inspection on it?
That's fine, it's gotta be done by, it's gotta be in
December
by
31st.
December
So we gotta
31st.
get this
So
taken care of soon.
I mean,
it's,
we got local engineers that we could keep it local, let somebody local do it. Would that be
it
okay?
doesn't matter to me, I just, the one that's working on it can do it,
Yeah.
they're already on the project, so it's fine with me. I'm gonna motion that since Mississippi Engineers is already working on it, just let them do the inspection, rather than engineers coming over the top of each other.
I'll second that.
Got a motion by Supervisor Howard to let Mississippi Engineer Group do the inspection. Got a second by Supervisor Montgomery. Any further discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
4-1 on that one.
I'll contact them for that. The county's health insurance is at all possible, Ms. Judon is here, but I would like to go into executive session if we can, first for some discussion, before I make my recommendation to the board. She came and I think she was going to speak to the board.
Okay, you wanna let Ms. Judon speak or not until after we go into
You can
executive
call her
session?
now if you want, yeah,
Okay.
you can.
Ms. Debbie, you wanna come up and talk to us about?
The renewal came back with, no increase. You keep everything the same and no lasers at all. Which is good, because there was a laser last year, and, that, I think in your packet, that laser, exceeded even the laser. The claims on exceeded that. If you look, okay, you got my letter. Okay, I didn't even notice this until this morning, and I apologize to Lois about this. I don't think it's gonna matter, but, use this one instead,
Okay.
and I'll tell you why.
You got one?
You need one.
We need one more, and I need one. Okay.
Okay, the only difference in the one and the one that was in your, oh, I'm sorry.
You got an extra one.
Sure.
Okay, there you go.
The only one, the difference in your packet is, in the packet, you'll see down option number 3, where it was 75,000. I noticed this morning that the family rate had to be incorrect on the 75,000. I brought it to the underwriter's attention. It was more than the 70,000 and the 80,000 on the family rate. So on what I just gave you, the actual amount on the family rate is, if you went to the 75,000, is 495.91. And the reason, I'm going to be perfectly honest, the reason I didn't notice that, I was so excited that the underwriter came back with no increase and no lasers on the 70,000. I didn't even notice the other two. So, but the one that I just gave you is correct. Let me see what else. If you, the claims information, if you will, the total claims, this sheet. The total charges, if you'll come down to the bottom of the page, the total charges right at 4.5, almost $4.6 million. The total claims. The total payments were a little over $1 million. So what has happened? It's 75, like a 75% discount, and which is major. It's major on that. That saves the county so much money. It also saves the amount that the employees have to pay out of pocket. It saves them money when they go. So it's across the board. On the active employees is the second sheet. It tells you, I broke this down so you could see. There's no one currently on COBRA. This is the active employees, and the charges were right at 2.4 million, and they paid out like 900,000 on the active employees. On the retirees, the charges were 2.2 million, and so, and they paid out 194,975. However, in the charges, the total charges, most of the people in the retiree program has Medicare, and Medicare has to be primary with this. So that's the total charges for them, and so the amount that Blue Cross paid, because now you do have some retirees that aren't Medicare eligible. You've got 3, Deanna? I believe so. Okay, that 3 who are not Medicare eligible. So they are paid just, I mean, they're primary with this. So, but the claims there were not right at $195,000. Any questions about these claims?
What is the 69,000 for primary rebate summary? A pharmacy.
Pharmacy.
Pharmacy rebate
Yeah,
summary.
that's what the county received as rebates back from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. And this just tells the monthly enrollment and the monthly claims. I will tell you that you've got a member who the reinsurance company was looking at the claims. They are not, their major claims are not on here because they had they're having a major claim that hasn't hit, that we've not been able to see how much it is in October. They had the procedure done and it was in October. So this will be at the end of October. Well, it won't even be until about the 5th of November that we'll be able to see what the charges are now. But it's not going to matter with Liberty Mutual. It's not going to matter at all. They said this. And I want to say something. I know that Deanna was asking for information, for the renewal information, but the way this company works, if they're the incumbent, they're waiting. They don't give contingent renewals. They give firm renewals. So they base their renewals on the end of September. That's the latest numbers we have from Blue Cross. They base their numbers on that. I apologize that it was late, but it's here, and it's a great one at that. Are there any questions about this?
I'm glad your stop liability is 70,000, I believe.
That's right.
And
It's,
of course, the county could increase that if they,
if
so
you desire, their
desire to
rates for
do
the
so.
75 and 80,000, you could, yes, sir, you could increase that if you wanted to. But also on, I've been fortunate enough, and Blue Cross and Liberty Mutual have been fortunate enough to be the agent for this group since 2014. If you were to take all of the increases and decreases over the years, less the lasers that were placed on there, it was 5.2%. In 8 years, you received 5.2%. Pretty good. And you were at 50,000 when we came in. Your first year and second year were really, really bad. And so we took you to 75,000 for 2 or 3 years. And then we brought you down, for the last 3 years, we've had you at 70,000. Because
That
the
was
rate,
because we had some employees that had some really challenging issues.
Correct.
That cost a lot more than,
not your normal,
not the normal.
right, but we got that under control, and the, they're on Medicare now, and Medicare's primary. So that's for that. Any questions about this?
So, explain to me a little bit like the no contingent renewal, in other words,
Okay.
another department or another.
Okay. No contingent means these are the rates. They're firm.
No matter what.
You can, no matter what, they're firm.
What?
The contingent is when they haven't seen the claims or they want to see more claims, and then base their rates off of that.
More of a history of claims over
Yes.
the years.
Yes, they want to see, if they've not seen claims, they want to see all the claims information. If they have seen claims, they want to see more months. And it's not uncommon for them to want to see through October. It's not uncommon at all. In fact, the letter, let me see, I have a letter from apologizing about the renewal. I have a letter. Did I even bring the letter? No, I brought the information. There is a letter, and I forwarded it on to Dolores, that the underwriter was explaining why this was late. In the past, according to the past, what we've done, it was on time. You know, we've got renewals, one renewal that was actually signed November 30th. And so it's the nature of the beast. You just never know. But the fact that you've got a bird in the hand here, and nobody can beat Blue Cross's discounts. I mean, you can't beat their network. You can go everywhere or anywhere where Blue Cross, I mean, every Blue Cross is independent of the other. But they have an agreement of reciprocity. So if you are on vacation in California and you want to, you need to go to the hospital there, you just check in with there's an 800 number you call and find who has Blue Cross and Blue Shield. And like in Mississippi, it's hard to find a doctor or a hospital or a facility. The only facility now is UMMC, and they're trying to work that out. That's not, a few years ago, do y'all remember when North Mississippi Medical Center came out of the network? And so what was happening, the money was going to the member. So instead of Blue Cross paying the hospital because they no longer had a contract with them, they paid the member. They paid whoever the member was, whoever had the insurance, they paid them. And it wasn't long before North Mississippi came back and signed that contract because people were getting $100,000 checks and going by motorcycles. They weren't taking that money to the hospital. And it was legal for them to pay $50 a month on it, and they got to keep the rest of the money. So, but what I'm understanding UMMC is doing is that you're having to pay up front. And but Blue Cross is still paying. They're still paying according to the last contract they had. I'm ready for the governor and the insurance commissioner to step in and get that corrected. I mean, too many people go to UMMC. They need
What
to
can
get
we
that.
do about that?
Uh,
I'll prime example.
Are you? I'm sorry. Well, what we've done with others is we've had, they've either found another doctor on their own or to get the services, or recently we've had Blue Cross to recommend a series of people that could do those procedures.
But what if there's only one doctor in the state of Mississippi that only does the procedures that I have to have done? And then we
You can go outside the
UMCC.
state.
You can go outside the
You can
state.
go outside the state.
Absolutely. You can go outside the
With
state.
Blue Cross Blue Shield, you can.
And it's amazing how many people go to Birmingham.
Yeah, they're pre-approved.
Well, I'm in a emergency situation, so.
That's what you need to do.
Any questions about this?
Who do you use to reinsure with? What company?
Liberty Mutual. They came in with me and they've been right there. This is what I wanted to show you. This is what I was talking about, the loss ratio and
Can a company make it without having a good relationship with a reinsured company?
you want that relationship with the reinsurer. You want that, yes. I mean, they could make it, but you want that, you want to be able to talk to that underwriter and tell them what you need for the group. And be able for them to tell you what they need. Another reason that maybe ours was late, because here's my position in this. It's like, the reinsurance company gets information, Blue Cross posts information, the claims and everything at the end of every month. It comes out like on the 5th of, like October claims are posted on like November 5th. I will download all the information, get it to the reinsurance company, because they keep up monthly what the claims are, how many members, everything. They just keep up with it. And then if
Slow down and explain to everybody if they don't understand that the debit account and the premier claims come into the county office and we balance those. So, I mean, can you explain maybe about all of that, how that works to everybody at the board? Right?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
So, I mean.
About the reimbursements?
Yes.
Okay, what they do is that Blue Cross puts 3 times a month the county pays claims. It's a claims billing, and then I'm trying to think of your next question. And then when it gets past the specific or past the laser, the reinsurance company starts paying, reimbursing the county. Now, I do not have access to the billing. The agents don't get that. They don't send the check to me. So I don't know.
They send it straight to the county.
They send it straight to the county, yes. Now, I'm willing, like I've always said, like I did last year, if I've got the claims, and it's easy just to get the checks, see, because on the checks it says this much on this claim for this person.
Right.
It's easy then to balance it out. I did forward that information today on what's been paid on the members so far, the reimbursements. There's like $9,000 in holding. They're holding right now, and then there's been over $80,000 reimbursed, and then there's about $21,000 that's being held because the procedures that were done are out of your contract. So we may have to get a letter on those, but they were done. And if they're done, most of the time, the facility has to eat that money. That they can't, because they know they can log in to Blue Cross, they can see what.
So that's something, if there was an issue, we'd go back to you and you'd help us get that
Absolutely.
worked out. I mean, that's how the county's always done it. We've always, done it the same way in the past, since we went Blue Cross with you, 2014.
Right.
Okay.
Right. They would send the claims, and Miss Emily and I sometimes, because if we want to, if like there's a big claim that comes in November, sometimes the facilities, the providers will be slow in getting that in. And we want them to go ahead and get it in so it pays in this year.
Yeah, I remember her having to follow up with things to make sure it got there timely,
Right,
so.
right. Any other questions about this?
No, I just didn't know if everybody understood that that was part of the legwork that was going on.
Right. And let's talk, and I provide packets for I don't know that y'all know this, well, you've gotten a packet from me. I provide packets for all the employees. Now, this is with ACA, Obamacare. They came out and said, every employee has to have this information. And they list all the information. They have to have their summary plan description, they have to have their confirmation of benefits, they have to have their confirmation of coverage, and then there's so much other data. They have to, all the new laws about mothers and breastfeeding, and there are tons of other laws that they require to be in these packets. Now, the employer, it's their responsibility to get this done. But when this was implemented with all of my groups, I went and told my groups that I would do it for them and at my cost. So I just,
There's a lot of work.
it's a lot of putting together, because you have to go, for instance, I have to go and print out everybody's the confirmation of coverage, evidence of coverage from Blue Cross. That's print out everybody. And then we have to put everything in there about what the summary plan description, what describes what they have. And we have to put everything about the dental program, everything that has, and then all of these other documents, these federal laws that they have to know about. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, they don't read it. I mean, I've had them call me and say, "Can you give me my ID number?" And I said, "It's in your packet," you know, because it's right there on the page. It's on the packet, and so they have it, and we do that. This year, it seemed like we were late, that I was late getting those packets over here. But what happens is, on the summary plan descriptions, in the right-hand corner, upper corner, it gives the date of the plan. Like this year, right now, the one that I print off is will be from December 2021 through, it'll say December 2021 through November 2022. But when the new contract comes out in December, they put, it's the same information, the exact same information, but the explanation of the summary plan description then has next year's date on it. So we're working with the very same material. It's just got different dates. And it was ACA who put the date on there. Now, heretofore, I've always gone ahead and put this year's in there. This year's information in there that's dated this year. But because we had a situation with, not I had a situation, but one of my companies had a situation, that document became very important, dated in that year. It was having to do with fines from the federal governments when things weren't filed correctly and that document became very important. So I've offered that I'll go ahead and have the packets ready if you hopefully should decide to stay with Blue Cross, that I can have them ready and have this year in there. And then when the new one releases in December, and it's usually toward the end of December, I can send another one out with that date on it. But it has the same information on it.
So, talk to the board about the difference in the lost revenue. Utilization renewal was only 0.61%. Real quick, and then we'll, I think maybe there's another company Ms. Farmer wanted to present. Maybe that's what we're going for next. I don't know.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The loss ratios every year, and these are the years, and the ISL are your specific amounts that coming down like this. And so this is the effective renewal rate increase. On the right-hand side, these were the increases that were implemented. since then. So you look at the claims that were paid in 2015. I mean, that's a lot of claims. So it's 28%. We changed you at that point to 75,000, so it would help. But and then in 2016, there was 13% decrease in it, and then it's 4 years, as you can see, 4 years that there was no increase at all.
That's good.
I mean, they're
And I get what you, yeah, I see how that .61 came out of that. It was a 5.2 minus the loss
Right.
ratio.
right.
Yeah.
It's and they were willing to come in. The underwriters were willing to come in, and when I learned, I didn't think I was going to present. I told them they didn't have to, but they're willing to come to the board and talk to you anytime about this. I want to remind everybody to be here, speaking.
Absolutely. First responders, will be there. Thank you.
Any other questions about this?
I have a question.
Okay.
Whenever and I may not be asking this right, that's the reason you're trying to think of how to ask this. The information that we're given, is there a way that we can get you let them give you the information as well, or is there a legal dynamic to that is a privacy issue?
You talk about the claims?
Right.
No, I can check the claims. I just don't want to be the one that certifies them.
Right.
But, because my errors and omissions coverage, won't cover it, because that's not in my purview.
Okay, we're good. I was trying to get my head wrapped around.
But I will gladly double check the claims against it. We know now what's out there now, and what they, like I say, they're due like $9,000 on one claimant, and another claimant is paid up except for like $21,000, and what the procedures were done were outside of the contract. They were done
That is something we've always done in the county. You know, we've always done that before here. Just everybody can do the claims in-house.
Okay.
Yeah, any other questions?
I'm good.
Everybody good with their Blue Cross? Blue Cross did make another change this year, was they stopped doing they didn't stop doing the ID cards. Because everyone new gets the ID cards. If you're a new member, you're a new employee, you get an ID card. They're not replacing those cards. I mean, and I was really, really upset about it. I even went to, when
That's on the street out there.
when I learned because I think it's awful that you don't get an ID card. You go to the doctor's office, they want your ID card. They want your license, they want your ID card. And what do? They take it and they make a copy of it. You know? And so I did, in looking at all the options, because I like to gather all of my options on what can happen here. And I did ask Dolores, I said, if it's available, would you want to pay for a card? 25 cents, 50 cents, I didn't even know if it was available. And she said no, and so we went from there. And so I go to the vice president of Blue Cross, and I explained to them that you can't not let us have replacement cards. You've got to do that. One is they're wanting everybody to go on their phone and look at their claims. Well, I'm the agent, and I have Blue Cross, and I don't even do it. You know, it's hard. But you've got people who can't read, like in some of my groups. You've got, in some of my groups, they speak Spanish, and some people do not have a smartphone, and so this was a hindrance. So they did come out, and I can print ID cards for them from the website now. So that issue has been solved. Anybody had anybody complaining about anything?
I'm good.
Well, Blue Cross Blue Shield seem to have quite a reputation. Liberty Mutual, what can you say about them as a renewal or reinsured? type company?
Well, they've just been really good to me the entire time. I mean, I have had them in I had them in Madison County. They've just been consistent. They're all about the client and doing what's best for the client. And I think I was truly, personally expecting them to come back with a laser. Truly. And they came back with 10%. And then I went back to them and said, what can you do? This is late. The proposal was late. So they came back, they took the 10% off. They apologized. They've written a letter apologizing, explaining why it was like it was. They don't give contingent information. They just, and it really wastes time, you know, because then you're really not sure what's going on if you don't get a firm renewal. You know what your numbers are. You know what to budget for. Same thing you budgeted last year.
Good deal.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Mr. Tippett.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
See you Friday.
Okay, thank you.
You get some good food. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, we don't have to go in executive session, but I will discuss if you want.
Just go ahead and discuss it.
All right, for the health insurance, my recommendation is that we move forward with Hub Risk International. We will keep our insurance with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Nothing changes but the broker. My recommendation to the board is not to renew the broker contract with Integrity, but to move forward with Hub. The staff is larger to accommodate the needs. Over the last couple of months, with myself talking with Ms. Judon, there's been bad miscommunication. We put out there when I needed this information. I got it October 19th. If you look at the front page of the other, I got it September 28th. Even as of today, I was still getting email from information that I asked for weeks ago. I don't want to say too much, but my recommendation is to move forward with Hub. It does not change anything with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Absolutely nothing. They will be the broker where any employee have a problem. They got the staff. Actually, they were with MPEB, and it's the same staff that Deanna spoke with previously, and they're still with the company. That's my recommendation to the board.
Isn't Hub who the county had before they were Blue Cross?
No, we've never been with Hub. We were with MPEB. Yeah.
They are affiliation of Hub,
Of
it's
Hub.
not just Hub.
That's correct.
MPEEBC. That's who you were with, but that's who.
I did contact Lee County, who does not have Blue Cross Blue Shield, but they have MPEB, but Hub is the broker. They are very pleased, very satisfied with the service. Any employee have a problem, they give them a call and they're on it. Just last week, the employee sitting in here, Friday, we were still trying to get some clarity on some things that we have been working on. And there's a breakdown in communication somewhere. So I cannot, in good faith, make the recommendation to renew the contract with Integrity Group.
So have we had issues with claims being paid, or a long lag of something with claims being handled? I mean I'm trying to
Yes.
see, you know, I need some information
I
as to
totally
why.
understand. Yes, we have. It's,
I think we need to go. This is.
I don't wanna say
HIPAA
too
laws,
much.
and we
Okay.
need to-
Well, if we fixing to start discussing employees, then we probably need to go
Yeah.
ahead and go
Very
into
sensitive when you're
executive session.
discussing insurance.
yeah, I don't wanna
Okay.
say too much in open.
I move that we go into closed session to determine if we need to go into executive session.
Second.
All right, got a motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Williams to go into closed session to see if we need to go into executive session to discuss insurance claims. All in favor?
Supervisor Williams were there, and Mike Waters from Waters Truck and Tractor, who actually services the trucks, the fleet of trucks that Golden Triangle Waste has, gave us a presentation on issues he's having. Let me back up first of all and say there's a fleet of 14 trucks, garbage trucks, at Golden Triangle Waste Services. And over the last several months, half that fleet has been down. They've been down to as many as 5 trucks. So they've been struggling to try and keep trucks in rotation and out on the garbage routes. And Mike Waters gave us a presentation on why it's been such an issue, and it's been almost impossible to get parts. He was telling us this is not just a local issue, that it's a global issue. He's been to several different states. And one example, it's out now, it's back in rotation, but he had one of our trucks in his shop. And he handles all of our trucks, along with his trucks and other trucks, but we're priority. We've been his biggest and best customer for a long time. So even if he's got one of his vehicles, his trucks in the shop to be worked on, if a part comes in for ours, he rolled his truck out and move ours in and get it taken care of. We needed a rear end in one of the trucks to get it back going. And he dug the internet over and over and finally found a refurbished rear end in Indiana. Got on the horn, got it shipped here, got it to his shop, and finally last week got the truck back in rotation. But those are some of the issues that he's having, we are having. Now some of the remedies, I talked to Mary Ann, and this past Saturday, they were able to keep the regional waste dump site open till 4 o'clock Saturday. She said that helped tremendously in trying to get caught up. So that was one of the things to help alleviate this problem. Another thing is they met with the city of Columbus and the city of Eupora. And in those 2 locations, they pick up garbage twice a week. Well, they went to them and proposed picking up garbage once a week in the city of Columbus and once a week in Eupora. So that would free up some trucks and some people to actually go service the rural routes again. She got a real good feedback from Eupora. She feel like they're gonna sign the contract. Columbus was sort of okay with it. She think that they'll probably get it done. She did say that there was one alderman that was completely opposed to it, but she feel like it's gonna get done. Vice Mayor Perkins reached out to myself and Supervisor Trainer and relayed to us that Mayor Spruill offered Wednesdays trucks. They don't pick up garbage on Wednesdays. So Mayor Spruill proposed that we could rent their trucks and drivers on Wednesdays. They put together a proposal. It was sent to us. I passed it on to Mary Ann. Mary Ann looked at the numbers and she said she don't have a problem with the numbers. She's gonna let the attorney look over it, and if he's okay with it, she's ready to enter into the agreement with it. So that would be another day in the week that we'll have more trucks on the route and things of that nature. It's been hectic. It's been trying. I can say that she's doing all she can do to try to get this garbage picked up. I talked to her today, and she felt like that because they've been working Saturdays and Sundays, she felt like they pretty much caught up except for a couple of little areas. hopefully no more trucks will go down and we can enact these other things that's been put in place. She'll probably be coming back to us as a board, the garbage board, executive board, to vote on these things that she want to implement. So she should be approaching us sometime this week.
So the other thing I know y'all are getting calls about is, people get used to what day they're gonna put the trash out, what day they're gonna pick it up. And I've just been telling them that after talking to Mary Ellen, that there's no set day anymore.
Not
until
hopefully
they
they're about to get back on scheduled days. One of the things we've been telling them is just when you put it out, let it stay out. That might work well for some people, but some people, dogs and animals and everything, and if you just put it out and let it stay out, then all of a sudden they got trash everywhere. So
that's just what she said. She didn't know if we were gonna get back to a regular day
Yeah.
till we got more trucks, but
well,
that's why I'm asking you.
let me update you on the trucks. We've ordered new trucks. Supervisor Williams, it's been months and months ago. And like all vehicles, it's been delayed and pushed back and delayed and pushed back. Some of them hadn't even went into production.
About six trucks, isn't it?
6 should be coming in, as far as we know, in March. That's when we should get the first 6 trucks in March. I think 4 more should be in by October of 23. And then we just went ahead and ordered 5 more new trucks to try to go ahead
get ahead of the game.
Yeah, get ahead of the game, and you probably won't expect them until sometime in 2024, depending on how this thing is going. It's been hectic. I feel there's a lot of calls. I'm sure you all have too. Mayor Ann is prepared to make a statement to the newspapers, to WCBI, talking about the issues we're facing, talking about the things that we're trying to put in place to help rectify this issue and sort of get back on schedule. Right now, like I said, I talked to her today, and she says they're pretty much caught up except for a few locations. So
I think the only thing is, I think some, with them moving around so much, some of them, like I said, Massey Drive, it's been 3 weeks that they had, and I talked to Benny last week, and he said, okay, Brickley, where is that? And I told him, so I assumed he picked it up, but then I got pictures and a text message again today. They still hadn't gotten it, so do I need to text you?
yeah, you can text me.
I mean, I
Yeah,
texted
yeah.
Benny
You can
last
text
week
me.
and called him, and I
Yeah.
talked to him about it, and he asked me where it was.
Yeah.
So, but things like that, those areas like that, we need to make sure that we get them picked up.
Yeah, and it's not just been in that area. It's been sort of all over. I can say, you mentioned Benny. I can say, Lord have mercy, Benny has worked himself into a frazzle.
He has.
He's good too. He'll
worked
go back on his
Saturdays,
own.
Sundays. He'll come out
Anytime,
and pick up one garbage can if you call him and say this person is cutting up really bad. Benny will come pick up that one garbage can. But that's sort of an update on where we at with this garbage situation. It's not just Octavia County. It's Webster. It's Lowndes. It's the city of Newport, the city of Columbus. But I'm more than willing, and Mayor Ann is too, and even Mike Waters said if there's anybody that want to talk to him, he would be more than willing to talk to him and let them know about the supply chain and what's happening with it, and the parts is impossible to get. But maybe Mayor Ann, maybe you can give her a call, and I'm sure she'll be willing to give you a statement and talk about what's happening.
And yeah, like the day, in other words, if you're supposed to be picked up on a Thursday, do they need to leave it at the road? Do they need to put an extra can by the road? Do they need to bring that garbage back? I mean, I know it's difficult to say, but there's
2
people
weeks,
asking that question.
3 weeks ago, I would have told you, I just don't know what to tell you. After talking to Mayor Ann today, it sounds like they're about to get back on schedule, and if they're not on schedule tomorrow or the next day, they should be back on schedule this week. I'll confirm that and send out a text tomorrow.
Them
and
staying
let you
open
know.
on Saturday really helped a lot.
She
so,
said, thank you all for whoever made phone calls, and I know you did.
Yeah.
Uh,
Call 'em.
and they kept the landfill open Saturday until 4 o'clock, and she said that was a tremendous help.
Something else too on that executive committee, and of course you and Supervisor Williams kind of represent us on that. Can we get kind of an updated, just contact information on all of them, and then the updates on who may need to be reappointed or what have you?
Okay.
Just because there were only a couple of phone numbers, so I had to call those to get the numbers of the others to it would kind of connect the dots. Just just kind of moving forward, we'll get those, just get all that information, and that's just an ask.
Yeah,
And I know you will.
Shouldn't be a problem at all.
Have you all considered reaching out to your competition for assistance? 'Cause Jimmy Moore with ASDI and Kerry Howard with Waste Management, they've been trying to get in October County for long. And they're reaching out to Clay County. That's why I always tell the board about establishing a good working relationship. Now that'll be a decision that you all have to make. But I bet if you contact Jimmy Moore or Kerry Howard, they'll come up here and help you all.
They probably will. Now, I can say that Clay County reached out
Yeah.
to Golden Triangle Way about picking up their garbage. Now, I don't know why they didn't get Jimmy Moore and them, but they reached out. And actually, Golden Triangle turned it down because they got all they can handle now. But I will pass that information on.
Yeah.
I certainly will.
I think they'll be willing to come in and come up with something similar to what the city, cause you talking about March. If not, we may need to buy a garbage truck and just
Well, I don't know where you're
hey,
going. But listen, she's
I'm
actually
putting out garbage cans now anyway, so I guess I can pick up garbage.
I'll ride the back, I reckon.
she's actually trying to get rentals.
That's the problem.
She's trying to get rentals.
Can't find
and,
one anywhere.
They just ain't out there.
They don't
Oh, and
exist.
here's $1 million question. I was asked, are we going to make some adjustment on the bills?
Legally, how? I don't think we can legally. That's what.
Because,
Not receiving services, I mean, I think there's an argument that could easily be made.
I mean, and I know it's not a lot, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I've had several to ask.
You said,
that,
I think
so-
you said 3 weeks, didn't you?
Well, and doesn't the contract say that they have to give them so many days' notice? Isn't that what that says? That if they're not gonna pick it up? What does contract say?
Yeah.
The old contract say something like that? Did it say something?
It sort of says something to this effect that even though it's late, did it still get picked up? So it's sort of that deal about, well, even if I was 2 weeks late getting it, I still got it. It's
Okay.
something along those
I didn't
lines.
In other words, in good faith, they're trying to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
Something to be considered.
Not to rush
This,
it.
you
not
know,
to rush y'all.
we've had issues like any other company in the past about missing us, but this is unprecedented, and again, this is not just Golden Triangle. This is
It's a global
I'll
problem.
talk to
This is
Shane
global.
Tompkins tomorrow and see if I can, and I'll text y'all out what information I can get. I'm certain that this is kind of beyond their control, frankly, and I don't know that it'd do any good. There are gonna be these issues out there regardless
Yeah.
of who we get, probably.
I think the things that she's proposed to put in place is gonna help tremendously with the offer coming from the Mayor Spruill in the city of Starkville. That's gonna alleviate a lot of issues when we can rent trucks and drivers from them for Wednesdays. She can then put them in Octavia County and move.
That's the benefit of us having a good relationship with
Yeah,
them.
absolutely.
It's 100%.
And like Supervisor Trainer was saying, it wouldn't be a bad idea to reach out to Mr. Jimmy. He'd love to come in here.
Good deal.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it's 7:10 and the board meeting was supposed to be open maybe about 6:45 according to the agenda, so we'll keep moving forward. And see, Rob had something that he wanted to do, and then we'll go around the table, if that's okay?
Real quick, I have two things.
All right.
The first thing is, we have been asked by Head Start to bring a couple of our trucks out to Head Start so the kids can look at these trucks.
Touch a truck.
The caveat I have is make sure the kids don't get too close to these trucks or climb on top of them or anything like that, which I know our people know that. I'll just say it for the record, but the road manager was asking for permission to be allowed to do that. What date was that?
Friday, and they just called me this morning.
So this is for Friday. If it's the board's willing to let him do that, he would like to take a couple of
Yeah.
things over there for the children to see.
Motion for approval.
Second.
We've done it
Got a motion by
before.
Supervisor Williams to take a few trucks to the Head Start, 2 trucks, to the Head Start. Second by Supervisor Trainer. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
The other thing is, and I'll get with the tax assessor on this, but we have an issue, and I'm asking for permission to, I've been contacted by Stark's Law Firm, and there is a issue with a business that, and it's not very much money, but they purchased a business. The personal taxes for the old business has been applied to the new business. And since the business sold, what it amounts to is when you sell a business, or frankly any other thing out there, those types of taxes, you can't check them. They're not out there to be checked. So whenever it was purchased, there was $200 or $300 worth of personal taxes. I'd like permission to reach out to the Starks firm, because he reached out to me, and to make certain that I understand the issue, and I'll be allowed to talk to our tax assessor to make certain that we can get this worked out, because he does need to be aware that there's no way we would have known.
Okay, Supervisor Montgomery makes the motion for you to reach out to the Starks firm regarding taxes on a business. Supervisor Howard seconds it. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. All right, we can go around the table. Anything else?
That's all.
Supervisor Howard.
Good.
Supervisor Trainer.
Yes, I have a cover request for Emmanuel Moore on 16 Section Road,
Culvert request, 16 Section Road.
for Emmanuel Moore.
Emmanuel Moore.
Right, and also Mr. Moore is interested in all the dirt that we got down at the C shop that's in the way. I think he might have contacted Mr. Baggett, and I'm trying to get a little bit more information. I know we took some bids on that, but we got a big pile of dirt, and we got stone, and I tell you what, just drive down by C shop.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I've
pretty-
seen
pretty
it.
crowded
Sitting
down
out
there.
there for a
We
while.
got stone almost in the highway.
You
Yeah.
almost gotta pay
Yeah.
somebody to haul it off if you hit it.
So, but Mr. Moore has a lot that's probably is maybe 3/4 of a mile down the road. He wants it,
Yeah.
and so we're trying to see what we can work out on that deal. But it's going to be a significant venture to move all of it down if he takes all of it. But I think it's something we may need to consider, because we are very crowded where we are.
Yeah, well, it's not gonna be a difficult move, get permission to move. I mean, it's right there.
The dirt,
We bid it out and nobody
wanted it. But we just, I know it, but the only thing about it is it'll be a lot of dirt being moved, trucks be going in and out of there, somebody be calling and everything, wondering what's going on.
We
But
need to say that it is,
You need to check first.
check on it first. I mean, that's not everything we got to do right now.
rubbish.
right.
Yeah,
Rubbish dirt.
just check on it first, and we'll maybe next
All
meeting
right,
we'll
so
have.
we've got the culvert. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, Supervisor
Second and a
Williams.
second on the culvert.
Oh, second, I'm sorry. Got a motion for Erich Culvert, second by Supervisor Montgomery. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Supervisor Williams?
Yes, covered request on Harris Road between 2436 and 2291. Don't have an address for that location, but it's somewhere between those two addresses. It's for Shanshila Rogers.
Second.
Shanshila Rogers.
For Ms. Rogers, got a motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Trainer. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
One other thing, we had asked for a legal description and pictures for Lean Lane. I motion that we utilize Kemp and Associates to acquire that legal description and pictures.
That's a survey.
He's a surveyor, right?
So got a motion to
Utilize
use
Kemp and Associates.
Kemp
To do
Kemp
KEMP.
and Associates to
what?
get the,
To get a legal description and pictures
Is that a,
of the area in question on Lean Lane. We have already had a motion and the board had approved.
That-
it is a
It's
county
an
road? isn't it?
abandoned, you're abandoning one part of it, taking the other part to
You
fix
say
the road.
lean,
L-E-A-N, lean, like lean.
Lane Lane. Okay.
Is that something our county engineer should be doing? That he's being paid for?
You can get the county surveyor, that's who's gonna do it with Kemp, right?
Yeah, Kip
Mr.
is,
Mr. Gregory, Tom
yeah,
Gregory.
Mr.
Tom
Gregory is the
Gregory.
Tom
county
Gregory, county
surveyor,
surveyor.
yeah.
Oh, that's council, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's very familiar with it. and
All right,
he-
got a motion by Supervisor Williams, got a second by Supervisor Trainer.
Right.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Anything else, Supervisor Williams?
Don't have anything
Okay,
else.
Supervisor Montgomery.
I've got a couple culverts. He's got the address. I believe one is 20. It's right by 2096 New Light Road. I got a culvert request there.
Got a motion
Second.
for Supervisor Montgomery, 2096 New Light Road, second by Supervisor Howard. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
And what's the other? You had-
Nichols, an extension.
Yes. There's a guy, he's gonna clean his land up, and it's at 662 Nichols Drive,
All right,
and we need about a 10-foot extension on that culvert. If not, they're just gonna crush that culvert all to pieces.
all right, so that's an extension
Second.
on Nichols
That's my
Drive,
motion, yeah.
by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
That's it.
Okay, I need to add a little section of John Starr Road to my 4-year plan. I make the motion to do that.
Second.
Got a second by Supervisor Trainer. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes
I
5-0.
do have a covered installment, Lucifer Lane. Out on Lucifer Lane.
Lucy,
Lucifer, what it is, timber hauler. He's furnishing the pipe, we're furnishing the dirt and gravel.
Second.
Lucy Taylor.
What
Lucy
lane?
Faye.
Lucy?
Lucifer.
Lucy Faye Lane. I got a motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. All right, if nothing else, we will,
Motion we stand adjourned in November 7th at 9 o'clock.
Seven.
all right, got a motion to stand adjourned until November the 7th.
7th.
7th
7th.
at 9 o'clock. Got a second by Supervisor Montgomery. All in favor?